Hello, and welcome to the Quest for Games. I'm Jerry, and in this video, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm not doing a teach. I'm going to talk about a couple of travel games, or they're called minis, that I found that I wanted to show people. I won't do a how to play, but if you really want me to do a how to play, send me a comment, and I'll work on building a how to play for that. What I want to talk about here is, for me at least, we're beginning to come up onto the time of the year that I do my most traveling. And when I'm traveling, if I go to a cabin in the woods or a condo on the beach or something like that, house on the beach, I can, and I'm driving there, I can take some of these games that are behind me because I have room in my car to fit some. And yes, I will probably take up half of the space that I should be allotted in games as opposed to clothes, but that's me. But if I'm traveling from the US to Europe or to Asia or something like that, I don't have as much room. When we were in Europe the last time, we took the train from London to Paris. And while we were on the train, we were able to play some basic card games. But I think there's some things that we could maybe do based on what I'm finding now that maybe something we could do on the train. Maybe we could do this stuff on the plane. So, there are other things that you can travel with and travel light. There's basic card games that you can travel with. This is just Grandpa Beck's The Bears and the Bees. Or there's other travel size things like all my Tiny Epics. This one's Tiny Epic Crimes, but I have a bunch of Tiny Epics, and their boxes are small enough that you can travel with them. There's some like roll and rights. This long shot, the dice game, is a roll and write. And again, its box is small enough, but it's getting to the point where it's too big to travel, really. I have these sets of pack of games, which I probably will do. I'm not sure if it'll be reviews or just how to plays, but these games are really small, about the size of a pack of gum. So they're easy to travel with, but they're card games with very small cards. So trying to keep those on a tray while you're on a plane or in a train or something like that may not quite work. I have the Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza put out a poolside version of it where the cards are all laminated. And we've played with these a few times. Doesn't matter if they get wet. It's just the regular Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. They come off of this ring. So there's those kind of things that you can travel with. But what I'm trying to talk about here is I found two games, and I'm sure there's probably maybe more in the series, but there's the regular basic Azul game and then Azul Summer Pavilion, and they call them minis. But I really want to get into what these do and why I really think these are more suited to travel than even some of the other smaller ones that I was talking about. So let's go take a closer look at these. This is Azul Summer Pavilion. The basic Azul works pretty close to the same way, and I'll show you that one real quick, but may not unpack it like this. So this is what you have for the Azul Summer Pavilion. And just the way you would play the normal Summer Pavilion, you put your tiles, their tops still look exactly the same, but the bottoms are hollowed out. So when you're playing the game, you're still drawing out of the bag, you're still drawing tiles out, you're putting tiles into the factories. The supply board is set up. I have the same factory kind of thing. I only filled the bottom ones in, and you have your board, which has the score, has sliders for score. I think we start with 5. And you have your factory tiles. But interestingly enough, these factory tiles, it's a recessed thing. So you can see as I'm moving it around, they're shaking around in there, but they're not flying all over the place. They're not sliding off. And if I picked, let's just say I just decided I wanted to take the green, and so these 3 go to the center. Well, even those that are in the center, it just slides around. They don't fall out. They're in recessed wells. And when I'm playing now, that is one thing that I found that I'm not as happy about, and that is that I don't really have a recessed well to put these on my card on my board as I'm playing, so I have to keep them somewhere. But once I do place this on my board, it's also in a recessed thing, so I've got that at almost a 90-degree angle, and that tile is still staying on there. So it makes it a lot easier to play while something's moving. But if the play surface is shifting, the tiles don't move. You don't have to worry about things, bumping on whatever surface it is you're playing on. They're recessed into here. When I pick tiles that are the ones that I'm reserving for the next time because I passed, there's a recess for that. The supply board is set up the same way. They're in those notches, so they aren't going to fall out. You can see I've got it again. Again, the idea is if you're sitting there and the table's bouncing around and this is sliding around on the table, things aren't going to fall off of the board. So that nice little recess and the nice little well that these are sitting in, my score being something that a slider that I can track, makes this very nice and easy for travel. There are two sides to the board, the non-colored side and the colored side. And you can take this out and just slide it back in with the colored side on that. And now I have the non-colored side to make it a little bit more challenging. And this is the same thing. It's just the Azul Mini. It has the same setup, same features, the same factory board with it's recessed. So if it's moving around, things don't fly all over the place on you. The board has the same kind of notches in it so that you can put your tiles on. One thing I like about this setup better than what I did with Summer Pavilion is that when you're pulling the tiles, right? So let's just say I'm going to take these two black tiles. I can put the two black tiles out on my board and then these go into the center, right? They go on my board and they just stay there. And then when it's time to go slide them into their spots, I can slide them into their spots. It has the same sliders to keep my score, and they don't move around by me moving the board. So because they're in those sockets, I again can get them up a little bit beyond a 45-degree angle before anything starts to fall out. The tiles, I showed that the tiles look the same. As a pattern goes, the tiles look the same. They just have this notch in the back, similar to Summer Pavilions. And that's what goes onto the peg in the board, the recess in the board to hold it in place. There is a rim around the outside. So final thoughts on that real quick. Am I saying you have to go out and buy these? No. If you already have the games and you enjoy playing the games and you're not traveling with them, you don't have to go buy these. We have traveled with the basic Azul game and just printed out some paper for the boards, folded them up and put them into the bag and just had the bag with all the tiles in it and then paper boards. And that works fine, except for, like I was showing, if anything happens to the table or whatever, things slide around and you might lose track of things, you might lose your place in the game, whatever. With these, when I found them, they were 15 bucks a piece. With those things and the fact that they're nice and they travel better, those are the reasons why I decided that I should buy them. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just trying to let you see that these are available. I guess I normally talk about build quality. The build quality is good. It's plastic. All of it's plastic. The tiles are not anything. They're any kind of a tile. They're just plastic. The boards are plastic, but that lends itself well for what these are trying to do. And the boards haven't warped on me or anything. I have seen some of the sliders be a little loose at times, but they work fine. I'll put a score on Azul or the Azul genre in general or the Azul games in general. I classify them as a 9. I have a very good time playing them. I play them quite a bit with friends and family. So I think the Azul set of games as a set are really good. These themselves just lend themselves to traveling. And like I said, at the price, they were nice for me. Are these for you? If you don't have Azul or a Summer Pavilion at all, I would consider picking these up. Azul's a very good game. Any format of Azul is a very good game. It's an abstract game. But are these travel versions for you? If you're doing a lot of traveling, if you travel on a train or you're traveling a lot on a cruise ship, whatever, I think these things have been great for that kind of traveling. If you're not, then yeah, it's probably not worth buying them, especially if you already have a copy. But like I had said, if you don't have a copy, I would pick up something. And these, they're smaller, they're not as nice, the tiles aren't as nice. So if that's important to you, then I would just still go buy the base games. But these were cheaper than the base games. Okay, I think that's it. I did buy these. The comments that I have are mine and mine alone. If you want me to put out a how to play on either of these games or any of the games you saw on this video or any of the ones you see behind me, leave me a comment or send me an email, and I will work on putting those together. I hope you have fun playing games, and I'll see you next time. Bye.